Newfound Bosnian, episode 13. This is going to be a difficult episode and a very personal episode. And with this one, I would like to conclude this series this series of episodes. I guess I should start season 2 next year. Maybe I will call it the Phoenix, the one who rises from the ashes. What is life? We don't know what is going to happen, for within our lives or what we are going to do. It just things happen. You were born in one place, you have a childhood. If you're lucky, it's a good one. If you're unlucky, if it is a bad one, and none of us can really control the outside circumstances of what happens to us. I was lucky enough to be born in former Yugoslavia and to grow up during the war. And then to move to Canada and again to move to South Korea and then to move back to Canada. I came here second time around to Canada with my family, with my lovely partner and 2 kids. And that's when kind of my life reached that brick wall. All along the way, I've seen problems, I've seen solutions, I've seen good things and bad things as well. But I've ignored a lot of things that were kind of shown to me along the way. I've always wanted to know what this is all about, but I could never figure it out. And I really was not good at following my instinct or following my gut. It wasn't a proper thing to do. A lot of times my instinct would tell me, Eldin, have fun. Go play rock and roll. Go kiss a guy. Those things were not okay. It took a long time for me, first of all, to accept myself for who I am, to be this person that I am today. And this person is a very happy person. I am a very happy man. I'm finally in touch with my both masculine and my feminine side. I'm okay with the suffering I have endured. I'm okay. I have made peace with the suffering I have caused to others. I can't really help everyone. I can't really help anyone to reach that point. Everybody has to travel their own path on their own way. It is our job to help each other as much as we can. Sometimes we don't receive the help. Life situations push us even further down, so we can understand what it is that we are supposed to do here. I have a home here in St. John's, Newfoundland. I have a business. Unfortunately, I'm about to lose it all, and I'm pretty happy about it. You see, I came to Canada with a lovely family, with a lot of money from South Korea. I was there for 16 years. I worked really hard, we made money, raised a beautiful family, 2 amazing kids. Unfortunately, somewhere along the way I realized that my partner and I had problems. And I ignored these problems instead of trying to fix them. Honestly, I could not fix them. But instead of dealing with it, I just worked, thinking that eventually things would work out on their own by themselves. And they do. The universe does take care of us at some point. But it takes a long time. It is much easier if you wake up and you can kind of take care of yourself. But not everybody has that choice. A lot of our situations are unbearable, unbearable. It is not our fault. It is nobody's fault. Things happen the way they do. However, there are people who can help us. There are people who control more than we do. We all know that. So when we first came here, my partner started showing these signs of obsessive jealousy, fear, paranoia, unrealistic ideas, which I have as well, and we all do. But when your fears affect others, then they are no longer just your fears, they are others as well. We live now in this world that is extremely self-centered, and I would say selfish. If humanity can be given an age, I think we are kind of like teenagers. We don't really see others' points of view, we only see our own. Whether you're a man or a woman, you kind of only see your side of the story. The truth is, there are many sides of the story, as we've seen it by now, that men suffer as much as women do. Women suffered more. African Americans suffered more than whites. But everybody suffered. Slavs were the only slaves along the Celts or the Irish or white slaves used by Europeans. It's not that simple. It is not that easy to say, okay, this is how it should be. A lot of times we try to impose our ideas onto others. Let's say, I'm going to use a horrible example for which everyone will hate me. I used to argue with my wife that, my partner, that if she was wearing revealing and provocative clothes, that it would turn my friends sort of against me rather than the other way around. And then the argument was that they were not my friends. Then I don't have any friends, because any male friend that sees my wife or my partner wearing beautiful, revealing, provocative clothes and doesn't take another glance at her, it does not exist. It's normal. We all are humans. Being a man is no longer acceptable. Having feelings, having emotions, being aroused by things is not acceptable. Throughout our own history, humanity has a history of being aroused by absolutely everything and everyone, whether it's children or men or women, animals. Yet we just say this is okay, this is not okay, this is normal, this is not normal, expecting that whatever is not normal to us will just simply disappear and kind of become normal at some point. Things don't happen like that. My own marriage is definitely a proof of it. Please don't get hung up on the details and the examples that I'm using here. I am both a man and a woman within this body. It took two parents to create me, one woman, one man. If I say I'm a man, does that mean that my mother had nothing to do with me? No. I refuse to be put in borders of being a Bosnian, of being a man, or being a rock and roll musician. Those genres, those categories do not apply to me. I am the universe in motion. If God is real, then I am God. I am a part of it, as much as you are, as much all of us are. The story continues. We moved here, and my wife, my partner, started exhibiting these signs, and my family decided to reach out, to try to get help from social services, from the police. Nothing ever happened. Instead, my wife said that she did not feel comfortable with me and she felt threatened by me, and I was kicked out from my home, from my business, from my family. My money was taken away from me, my vehicles were taken away from me, and I became homeless. I was a professor of marketing in South Korea for 10 years. I have a lot of money. I have a lot of people who know me and who could vouch for me, who know me personally. They all did. All this fell onto deaf ears. Instead, the government of Canada forced me to go to rehabilitation programs. I'm glad I'm not a Chinese Uyghur, because the rehabilitation centers in China are much worse than in Canada. Here I had to take courses such as caring fathers, I'm sorry, my pronunciation is not that good. Healthy relationships. I took anger management courses with inmates from the prison. My classmates were people that came out of jail for committing a murder. The facilitator of that program told me that I came to that program recommended as that guy from the Silence of the Lambs, like some kind of psycho who speaks up, who shares his story, because we're not supposed to share our stories anymore. We're not supposed to share how we feel. It is the same when we tell the white nationalists, you cannot feel this way. Feelings are subjective. People that feel, for example, here in Newfoundland, we are bringing thousands of refugees from all over the world in a place that cannot support them. Our housing market is crashing, our economy is crashing. We just can't afford to bring in more people. Yet we're bringing them in. And what is going to happen? These people are going to encounter hate, racism, because they are going to be seen as a problem, as an obstacle in other people's lives. It doesn't work like that. You cannot tell people to feel a certain way. You cannot tell a man, don't be aroused by me. What am I supposed to do? Change thousands of years of evolution, my own biology, cut off my organ? It doesn't work like that. The same goes for women, the same goes for children. Some things are acceptable, some things aren't. Again, don't get caught up on the details. I'm here to tell a story. This is to help all of us. So there you go, from rags to riches many times over. I survived several wars. I went from rags to riches many times. Many times. I will talk about these experiences in other videos, but this one I need to dedicate to this particular situation that is now facing me. I survived all this ordeal with my partner with Social Services of Canada, and finally received an apology from them. There was an investigation done and I came out clean. They realized that I had nothing to do with all the accusations my partner claimed against me. Yet the social services could not help me, my kids, or my wife. To this day, my partner is at home by herself. She has no friends to help. She has no adults in her life. She suffers tremendously. My heart breaks every day. I cry daily because of that. I have this guilt, this survival's guilt. I was able to pull through my own conditioning, my own post-traumatic stress disorder and trauma. She couldn't, not by herself. For years I kept her hand and we walked together to this life, but at some point she started believing that I was the enemy, that I am the devil. It is a very, very difficult situation. For years we've asked for help. For years my kids and I begged 6 different social workers to provide adequate help to my partner. We all claimed that she needed help. The neighbors did, the friends did. Yet there was nothing that could be done. Men have become evil. I have not hit any woman. I have not raped any woman. In fact, it was the other way around. Rape was used as a weapon of the war in my country against women. And I know how it feels. And I will tell you more later about my own experiences with that. But I did not do it. Just because I'm a man, that does not make me automatically a perpetrator of these crimes. Yet nobody believes you. Countless friends have taken their lives, have moved away, have lost touch with their children because of these accusations. It is enough for a woman to say that she does not feel comfortable or feels threatened, and men's lives are destroyed. At this point, we have about 81.7% of single mother households in St. John's, Newfoundland. 1 in 5 children is under social service protections. 3/4 of children do not have a father figure in their life. For this reason, we have mothers who have 3 children with 3 different fathers. They get support from the government. They get financial support, but not the emotional. These poor women struggle by themselves to raise children that are going to take care of us in the future. They are creating the future Canada, the future world. They need help with babysitting, with shopping, with communication, with emotions. We're not getting that. The system needs a complete overhaul. This is not working out for anyone, not for women, not for men. What we are doing now is supporting a system that is creating this generational trauma. We know that now. In Canada, we have found more than 11,000 graves of Native children. The history doesn't lie just because we turn our blind to it. Emotions don't lie as well. It doesn't work. You cannot tell people how to feel anymore because they rebel. Children are rebelling. The situation in our schools is horrific. There is more bullying now than there's ever been. Yet, we have anti-bullying campaigns. We have more issues with sexuality than we've ever had. In today's world where we think that it is okay to be absolutely everything, nobody gets away easily. The schools have always been the worst torture zones of our society. You know that. You've been to school. You remember. It could have been avoided. All that pain, all that suffering could have been avoided. I stand for something and for someone. I have 47 years of experience on this planet and countless of friends, countless numbers of friends, co-workers, employers who have known me. It took one person's accusation to completely break my life apart. I attempted suicide twice because I felt I was living in a twilight zone. I was forced to live on the street because the government of Canada said, we cannot help you. You have a house, you have a restaurant, you have a car. We cannot provide shelter for you. Yet, the same government kicked me out of that shelter and took it all away from me. I lived in a van in the middle of the winter in Canada, across the street from my restaurant, which I still had to work in and pay for, or I would have ended up in jail. Many times I thought jail would be probably nicer. I worked 3 jobs. I worked at Costco, the shopping center. I worked as security downtown at a beautiful club called Greensleeves. I owned my own restaurant, Balkan Kitchen. And I took care of my kids. I had supervised visits with my children. My accountant was my supervisor. I could not see my children on my own. Yet, my partner, who is suffering from tremendous problems, was fine. No one ever asked her to go take a course called Caring Moms, Healthy Relationships, Anger Management. There are numerous women's centers around this beautiful city, and we are grateful and blessed for them because women do need help. No one came to help. We've asked for help many times. A lot of things happened behind my back that I also don't know. Help was provided. Steps were taken, but I was kept in the dark. Almost purposely. It's as if someone wanted me just to disappear. Because I remember reading this horrible graffiti in a town in northern Serbia, Vojvodina. No blacks, no racism. Later it was no Muslims, no problems. Or no men, no problem. It doesn't work like that. We need each other. Men need women, women need men. The world needs us together. Still, one day we're going to have a full integration of technology and humanity, and the human 2.0 will be able to replicate itself through cloning or through whatnot. And I guess that is the future that we are moving towards too. Because this one creates nothing but trauma. I am yet to meet a woman who has not been abused. Unacceptable. I'm yet to meet a man who has not been abused. But we don't talk about it. Abuse of men is a part of growing up. I have been abused physically, sexually, spiritually, religiously, financially, emotionally, generationally. My dignity was stripped away from me a long time ago, to the point that I became a docile, subservient human that anyone could kick around. And that is a modern man, a doormat. I always joked being a doorman or a security person at the club downtown. I said, I'm not a doorman, I'm a doormat. People just go in and out whenever they want. And that's how I have felt. I'm going to start the new episodes of Newfound Bosnia, and I'm going to present to you a new manifesto. which we call now Agenda 2030 or New World Order. The reality is that we need a new world order. We need a new Messiah. We need a new God. This is blasphemous, I know. Believe me, I know. But look at me, I'm half Muslim, half Roman Catholic. I'm 12% German, 12% Turkish, 17% Slav, 7% Celt, 4% Mongolian. We are all mixed of many things. Why would I think that one religion is better than the other, or more true than the other, or that any religion for that matter is true? What happened to Mayas, Aztecs? We are the universe. We are the miracle. And what is happening with us is a transitional period from one stage to another. I, for one, cannot wait for the new stage. I know that within my life, none of the things that I'm going to be talking about in my future videos are going to come true. I regress. The fourth point of my new manifesto has been legalized in Canada, so we do have now euthanasia or mercy killing legal, so you can check out anytime you like. That also needs to be improved, because if this world is too much, if the suffering is too much, you don't have to take it. You don't. Some people are suffering way too much. It's not fair. One person suffering is one person suffering too much. Nevertheless, my home is going to be taken away by the bank. My restaurant is going to be taken away by the bank. My family was taken away by the government. Yet here I am, working for the government, going back to school to become a social worker who's going to be doing the same job one day. As I said, in 3 years of experience with our social services, we have changed 6 social workers. Excuse me. It is a horrible job to do something that you don't want to do and that you believe is wrong, but there's nothing else you can do. Excuse me. It's not always easy. It's not always the father gets drunk and abuses his children, or mother is a drug user. Nobody becomes an alcoholic overnight. Nobody becomes a drug user overnight. These are systematic failures. However, they are not failures because the system is working perfectly. I am a slave. So are you. The first episode of Newfound Bosnian was exactly that. I am a slave for you. We are, excuse me again, slaves to our desires, to our jobs. Yet, even our desires have been constructed socially. My children grew up in South Korea, went to school there. To this day, they hate Japan for no particular reason. Even though they've been to Japan several times, the younger one was conceived in Japan. They love the place, but subconsciously they have a dislike or hate toward Japan because of the wartime atrocities committed by Japanese on Koreans. We have all been given this gift of hate. Irish hate British. French hate Germans. Germans hate Austrians. Austrians hate the Balkans. Balkans hate the Turks. Turks hate the Armenians. Armenians hate the Iraqi. And forever. It is the ideology brought to us by the British Empire, the system of education that teaches hate, servitude, that perpetuates the rule of elites and rich, the gods on earth. We must remember that no earthly god stayed on forever, even though, as we know within the modern history, the people that, or the company that rules this world has been around only for so long. We will prevail. Everything is going to be okay, but not now. Not for you, not for me, not for my children also. However, if we open our hearts and our minds, maybe in the future, in 2200, 2500, we are going to see the results of all this. My job through these YouTube videos is to raise awareness of the problems that we are all facing. I'm going to speak up for myself, for my children, for my friends, for my world. We all suffer. We all do. We all do. Your suffering, my suffering is our suffering. It's very important to understand that. You cannot tell others how to feel. It goes both ways. Whether it's positive or negative, everything must be brought out into the open. Pandora's box must be open, and all the negative things must come out. We must talk about racism. We must talk about different sexualities. We must talk about pedophilia. 11,000 children in Canada. We are a deprived society. We need to do something about this. This is a triggering video. I'm sharing a lot of personal information that I perhaps shouldn't have. But it is affecting me because I have been at the bottom. I have seen the worst this world has to offer, and I've seen the best. And I want to bring the best to everybody. Speak now or forever hold your peace. Your suffering is my suffering. We all suffer together. I do, daily. And I'm going to try to change that. So, goodbye home, goodbye business, goodbye family, goodbye Eldin. Hail to the new me. I can't wait to see what the future brings, and I know it's going to be amazing. Because I am the miracle, and I am the creator of this destiny. For as long as I am alive. And that is forever, 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 forever. Love you all. See you in the second season.